there are those who still believe that constitutional silver and silver in general are not good hedges against inflation. Well, today I'm going to go to bat for constitutional and why it absolutely can be. Stay tuned. Well, hey YouTube, how the heck are ya? Welcome to another edition of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack, episode number 75. As always, I'd like to thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to check out the new video, and if you'd like to help support this channel, then why not click on that thumbs up button, comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. All those actions help to promote the channel, and you know I humbly appreciate all the support. So today, we're going to take a look at how constitutional silver has been a match for inflation over the years. I'm going to use the 1964 quarter as our model for today's tour, since it was the last time 90% silver was used for circulating currency. It's a really fascinating look at how constitutional has kept up with the times, more or less. So without further ado, let's roll! Alright, so let's take a look at our 1964 quarter. It was the last year 90% silver quarters were produced for circulation. The mint actually used about 550 million ounces of silver that year to create their coinage. The actual silver weight is 0.1788 ounces, and it was designed by John Flanagan. So what was going on around 1964? Well, gas station attendants performed full service, wore uniforms, and apparently insanely lame straw hats. You couldn't have paid me enough to wear that thing. But then again, I worked at Burger King in the 80s as a kid, so we had to wear some horrible polyester multicolored abomination with a paper hat, so I guess I can't say anything. The Beatles arrived in the U.S. and promptly hit it big with 6 #1 hits in 1964 alone. They would also make their groundbreaking appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show in February of that year. The first Ford Mustang rolled off the showroom floor. And the first test flight of the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird took place at Air Force Plant 42 in Palmdale, California. Now, I gotta tell you, this was hands down my favorite military jet as a kid. This thing was so far ahead of its time. It could still be put back into service and flown today if it was needed. But the cost of running one generally outweighs the need. But I had models of this thing everywhere. It was just awesome. I mean, even today it looks awesome. Now, as inflation and prices went up from the 60s, so did the value of this silver quarter. So to this day, that same 1964 quarter has absolutely kept up with modern day inflation. And it can buy today nearly the same things that it bought back in the day. And that's the hedge we always talk about with constitutional silver. If a person held on to a stash of quarters and dimes and whatnot from 1964, that stash would have outpaced normal inflation many times over. Might have been a struggle with today's financial shenanigans, but it would still outperform fiat cash for sure. Of course, all of this is relative, and it's strictly based on the current spot price of silver. At the current $21 and change spot price at the recording of this vid, there would be some resistance. But that being said, what exactly could that 1964 quarter buy back in the day? Well, that quarter in 1964 would just about get you a burger and fries or anything else on the McDonald's menu in 1964. Sorry for that. It's just the thought of McDonald's food pretty much turns my stomach just thinking about it. Oddly enough, this is weird, but I do like their breakfast stuff. Go figure. But yeah, you could pretty much buy anything on the menu for a quarter. What else could you get? Well, you could buy a gallon of gas, a pound of butter, or a loaf of bread, and still have a little bit left over for the bread. Take a look at that advertising for the butter. Holy crap. It's a wonder anybody made it out of that generation. Your nutrition tip: butter is slippery. That's why we eat as much as possible to lubricate our arteries and veins. Okay. So what's our 1964 quarter worth today? Well, if we take an average modern silver spot price of, say, 24 bucks, I'm just pulling a number out, during any year, this 1964 quarter would give you a minimum melt value of $4.34. That's just melting it down, minimum $4.34. If we take average value and extremely fine to maybe uncirculated condition, well, it could go up to the $5 and $9 range if it's got like an MS60 grade. Now, bear in mind, all quoted values are just estimates. A lot of factors come into play with spot price and graded coins. But hey, what could that same 1964 quarter buy today, assuming it was valued at its proper silver worth? Well, you could still buy just about anything on the McCrappy's McDonald's menu to this day. On that side note topic, does anybody know if there's even a shred of actual chicken meat in those McNuggets anymore? I'm not so convinced there is. I mean, they taste like mildly seasoned bread to me. Last time I had them, I had to use a pack of the hot mustard sauce on each nugget just to get them down. Just terrible. Anyway, I digress. You could still, with that 1964 quarter, buy a gallon of gasoline today, even with the insane, stupid prices we're currently sitting at. Might be a struggle, but you get the point. This quarter would get eaten alive in California, by the way. We all know the cost of living is a little bit higher out there. All right, we're going to take a quick look at our 2021 quarter. We're leaving the past and moving into the present. What is this coin worth in 2022? Well, face value of 25 cents for one, nothing more. The problem is everything's so friggin' expensive right now that this quarter is almost deemed useless. Whereas we used to stockpile these quarters as kids in the 80s to go to the arcades. Some of you might remember those times. That was our social network back then. We didn't need Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. We lived it. We lived it, and it could live on a quarter. But this chart will pretty much give you a snapshot of the buying power a quarter had in 1964 all the way to present day. This is really a perfect example of the declining value and buying power of our fiat cash. Look at that drop. Anyway, I digress. The chart speaks for itself. Quarter doesn't get what it used to. So what will that 2021 quarter buy us in 2022? Nada. Zitch. Zip. El Crapo. You're unlikely to even be able to grab a lemonade from a kid's stand with a quarter anymore. Even their operating costs have gone up, and well, in these days, staffing's a bitch. Oh, well, hang on. Here's a couple of things you might be able to still buy for a quarter today, and even these are questionable. You might be able to get a gumball, play a game of Pac-Man or Galaga. And even that, a lot of vendors have moved these up to 50 cents a play now, so that's not even guaranteed anymore. So let's summarize. Your fiat cash stored in this institution equals the same concept of this 2021 quarter. The buying power is getting weaker as inflation rises and as the Fed issues more of it. There's nothing backing fiat cash. There's nothing intrinsic. There's no gold or silver standard. It's a paper note that can't truly back up its promise of being legal tender for all debts, public and private. As time goes on, you're going to need even more of it to pay old debts. So again, this is your fiat cash. And this is your constitutional silver. Big difference. How big of a difference? Well, to me, it's a slam dunk difference. All right. That is going to wrap it up for the 75th episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. And if you made it all the way through to this point, well, kudos to you. I will catch up with everybody in the next episode. But in the meantime, you know the drill. You know the drill. You know what to do. That's right. Get stacked. Stay safe, everyone. I am out of here. Peace, people. Have a great weekend.